Hi there. We're into December now, and it's officially the festive season. It's kicked off now. So I love this time of the year, in spite of it being cold. I mean, it's freezing cold in my house right now. My boiler's just about working. So if I'm shivering, I'm sorry. Anyhow, I decided this year I'm not going to buy a Christmas tree. I'm going to try and make my Christmas tree, and I'm calling it the mixtape Christmas tree because I'm going to be using my records, my books on music, my CDs, and my DVDs of movies whose soundtrack I just absolutely adore and love. So I just thought I'd have a go and try to do this and be just a little bit creative and also to save some money. So I'm gonna have a go. I've gathered up my books, a bunch of DVDs, a bunch of CDs and records, just to show you quickly what I'm going to use, and I hope you'll continue to watch till the end of this video because I'm going to reveal my creation. So I hope it's not going to be like a Frankenstein Christmas tree, and I hope it's going to be good, and I hope that it's going to be good enough for Christmas. Okay, so I'm going to start with some books. So this one was just published last month. Okay, I'm going to show you. It's called Down Home Music, the Stories and Photographs of Chris Strachwitz, and he is the founder of Arhoolie Records. He created Arhoolie Records back in 1960. Sadly, Chris passed away this year, so what a lovely, wonderful tribute to his legacy. This is full of his photographs of pictures he took out in the field, talking to roots musicians, and because he recorded music as well out in the field. So it's wonderful, and I read somewhere Arhoolie Records is responsible for producing about more than 400 albums of roots artists. So I think that's really exciting. I'm going to use this, the Encyclopedia of Singles, and I'm really interested in hearing the backstory about artists and how they came up with their hit singles. I've been trying to learn more about classical music, so I've got this book here. It's a DK Publishers, Random House, and it's a really good book. I've got this, The Stories Behind the Sleeves, 100 Best Album Covers. It's a great resource material, and just lots of wonderful information about the album covers. It's the Motown, the Sound of Young America. And I enjoy the history of musical genres, learning about it. Nick Hornby, he's a British author. So, he wrote Fever Pitch, High Fidelity, 31 Songs, About a Boy and High Fidelity end up being turned into a film. Nick Hornby's book, High Fidelity, some people credit him and his book for sparking the revival of vinyl. It's quite small, and it's called A Brief History of Album Covers. I think this will probably end up pretty high up on my mixtape Christmas tree because of the size. Okay, 1,000 record covers. This isn't really up to date, but I really like these kind of books because it's a good compilation of the albums. They credit the artwork as well, the artists, and I really like that because for me, part of the joy of listening to records is the artwork. I really love the Smiths. So I got this autobiography of Morrissey, and it was published by Penguin Classics. So it's called 1001 Albums, and this is really heavy and thick. This is an interesting book. It's called Nylon Play, the Nylon Book of Music. But this is really very much a book about style, fashion, and music. So just looking at the index, show you. It talks about, so you see Deborah Harry there. It talks about music icons, influences, mixtapes, posters, fan style. It's aimed at the not even Gen Z, I would say the Gen Y generation. The Life and Times of the Motown Stars. As you would expect, it covers all the Motown artists. I think this book is really interesting because it talks about not just the history of records, but the actual making of records. And it talks about the pressing plants around the world. So it's called Vinyl, the art of making records. The grooves, the labels, and the designs. It's beautifully produced, this book. Really beautiful. And it goes through the whole history based on the decades. And it talks about also turntables as well, gatefolds, songs, the pictures. This book was published in, I think, 1977, okay? And it's called Phonographics. So it's a pretty old book, but, you know, it's wonderful to see all the illustrations. You know, they've got the Beatles there. Wow, it's really heavy. Bruce W. Talman, Soul and R&B Funk. Photographs, his photographs from 1972 to 1982. And Bruce Talman is a photographer, and he had access to all these soul artists. And the photographs are wonderful. They're really behind the scenes photographs. You got Bootsy there, if you can see. A photo shoot, he was there. These are the Jacksons. So he's behind the scenes capturing all the action. And before buying this book, I had never seen the photographs before. Marvin Gaye, it's so heavy, I'm really struggling to hold this. Billy Preston, Gil Scott-Heron. I just want to show you two Christmas records I love. It's a very special Christmas. The artwork is by Keith Haring. This was a fundraising album. It came out in the 1980s, and it was to raise money for the Special Olympics. This, everyone knows, right? Do they know it's Christmas? So this is the 12-inch. You can't really stack LPs on top of LPs, right, for my Christmas tree. So I thought, well, I gotta find some box sets. And I actually don't have that many record box sets, because I'm not really into box sets. I did manage to locate a couple, and I want to show you what I'm going to use for my Christmas tree here. So I've got this. It's Norman Grantz's Jazz at the Philharmonic, 1950s, okay? It's the Verve label, it's mono. This was manufactured in Japan. I gotta tell you a story about this box set. I found it at a thrift shop, charity shop, and I bought it for £1, and I was so shocked. When I took the box set to pay, the manager happened to be there, and she said she was really happy to see the back of this box set. And I asked her why, and she told me that it's just been there for a long time in their shop, and they were about to throw it away. I think they had it priced for $5 originally. And rather than throw it away, they decided, well, this is the last chance saloon. They're going to mark it down to £1 to see if anyone's going to buy it. And if someone's not going to buy it, they were going to throw this away. So I just couldn't believe it. And I actually let her know. I said, well, you know, it's probably worth more than £5 if you sell it online, but the charity shop, they at that time they didn't have like an online store. Here I've got this huge heavy box set. It's called the MUSETTE, and I bought this in Paris at the Phono Museum recently. The owner was so kind, and he took the time to explain to me what Musette music was about. This was just published, and it's basically double vinyl of the Musette music. This is the labor of love of two people who crowdfunded to get this project going, because they felt that it was important to preserve the history and the culture of the Musette music. I'm a big Django Reinhardt fan, and you know his gypsy jazz. He has a lot of bits of the accordion music in his songs, so I thought it was really cool. And the owner of the Phono Museum told me that Django Reinhardt, he was involved in this whole kind of Musette movement too, really in the early days. So I thought that was really cool. It also came with a double CD of the LPs, right? And I just want to show you, look at the labels. They're beautiful. This box set, be very careful here, comes with a book. It doesn't even stop there. So the box set comes with a pen drive full of more history and more photographs and maybe music, I'm not sure. Because they couldn't fit it all into this book. So they could have had like a second volume. So what they did was they included all that information in this pen drive. And so this is all part of the box set. So isn't that extraordinary? And I hope you can see it. But the pen drive is it's actually a little mini accordion. So I'm gonna be very careful. I'm pretty clumsy sometimes and I end up dropping a record. I don't know if you've ever done that. Like it slips out of your hand and it falls on the floor. And then you end up getting a dink on the corner or a crease. You know, I just lose the will to live when that happens to me. I'm going to use this box set. I have Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band live performances from 1975 to 1985. Motown Chartbusters, 150 hits of gold. Some of the album covers in there. Isn't that wonderful? Really fantastic. Look at this. Look at these. So moving on to DVDs that I'm going to use or possibly use, I'm not sure, but I just gathered up a bunch. So got Lost in Translation, great soundtrack on here. Les Choristes, another great soundtrack. French movie about a French choir and the music's lovely. Yeah, About a Boy. Another great soundtrack by Badly Drawn Boy. And I do love Badly Drawn Boy's music. He's just awesome. High Fidelity DVD. As I mentioned, the soundtrack's fantastic. In the Mood for Love, one of my favorite all-time films and soundtrack. Cinema Paradiso. The Thomas Crown Affair. Another great soundtrack. And it features Nina Simone's Sinnerman. The DVD to Roots and the soundtrack, I actually have the vinyl record. I have the record and it's by Quincy Jones and it's really nice. It's very atmospheric and I think this is one of those overlooked soundtracks. Of course you've got Emily. I've spoken about this movie and the soundtrack so often. Sorry about that, but it is one of my favorites. The English Patient, another great soundtrack. This movie, Once, another one, fantastic. The soundtrack's great, music's great, great movie, and it's quite funny as well. Trainspotting, the CD, Alan Lomax, Blues Songbook, Van Morrison's Poetic Champions. I've got to have Gabarzabo's Dreams. The Beat, Greatest Hits, Stranglers, Ohio Players, Gold, the Buena Vista Social Club, amazing LP. There was a documentary done about these Cuban musicians. So Best of Curtis Mayfield, Johnny Bristol, Sister Rosetta Thorpe. I'm gonna have Hooverphonics. You got the Best of the Psychedelic Furs, I'll add in there. And you've got Pat Metheny's One Quiet Night, I'll throw in there. Rodrigo Y. Gabriela. So I'm really grateful. Someone in the VC community actually recommended these artists to me and I love it. It's guitar music. It's fantastic. I'm gonna throw in Brass Construction, Bloodstone, and Nightmares on Wax. Very chill out, lo-fi music. And then you've got Florence and the Machine. More kind of chill out music. Man Ray, Michael Henderson, In the Nighttime, LP, and he's got some wonderful songs on here. Take Me, I'm Yours, In the Nighttime, Yours Truly, Indiscreetly. I'm gonna throw this one in. It's Johnny Lee Hooker and Lightnin' Hopkins. I'm not sure if it really worked out. It's a little rough, just a little rough. So I think I'm gonna have to refine this. I over-egged it with all my items, and I realized I actually didn't use a lot of the items I got together. So I think it needs a bit of refining, and let me know what you think in the comment section, please, and whether or not you think I should just go and buy a tree, or if you think this is going to be good enough for Christmas. Thanks for joining me.